And welcome to the Loading Screen Podcast. This is episode number 39, the Rise of Iron edition. Today we do have Angry Iceberg and our special guest, Evil Aura. You guys all know Evil Aura. He's all over the Destiny community. And today we are going to be discussing all aspects of Rise of Iron. We're going to be talking about the story. We're going to be talking about PvE, PvP, the raid, Iron Banner trials, and whatnot. We're just going to go over the gambit. So let's go ahead and get started with the story. How did you guys like all the cinematics and whatnot and the visuals? We'll go ahead and start with our guest, Ewar.
The cinematic for Iron Banner was a little bit lackluster, but that was really the only one that I thought could have had more. I'm sure there's more to come. That's the most fresh in my mind at this point. And I've enjoyed everything else. The cutscenes have been good. I haven't been skipping through them, even watching them a second time in case I missed them while streaming the content. So it was. I've enjoyed it so far. The cutscenes have been good.
Okay, Iceberg.
Well, I thought it was pretty neat to kind of see some of the characters that we've heard. You know, something about Yolder, of course, being the main one, and just it was nice to have something else to see. Of course, they weren't super long. I've watched them a couple times and just kind of skip over them now. Even with the with the Iron Banner, they had a minor cutscene there where they introduced Efreet. So Efreet, right? Efreet. There we go. Not Efreet. Efreet's a Magic the Gathering thing. Anyway, so I mean, it was kind of cool seeing that, but I mean that was real short. And you just like it came in, and you're like, oh, all right, because I was I heard about the cutscene for Iron Banner, and I was super excited because I love cutscenes, and that one kind of left me a little wanting, to be honest. But they were fairly short to the point, but again, they weren't something that I really felt like it was necessary to watch again. I think that the Taken King cutscenes were probably a little bit better because I think they kind of added more to the story and kind of what's going on. What we had. What we had with this DLC, it was just kind of like, okay. I mean, but I think part of it too was just that they needed something, and they knew they needed something because when we got our previous DLCs, speaking of the House of Wolves and of course the Dark Below, we didn't really get any cutscenes for those, and people really kind of responded poorly, negatively for that. So. I think as far as setting up the story, they did an okay job. The first cutscene was good. Maybe there could have been more, but yeah, it was. I would say like 9 out of 10. I'd get it a 7, or out of 0 out of 1 out of 10. 0 to 10. Yeah. Anyway,
we got it.
There we go.
Yep.
You guys get what I'm saying.
Yeah. I actually like the inclusion of the story, and I'm including all of the Patient Zero, all of the Null Sector, all of that good stuff in it as well, because that came out before the actual DLC did, but that kind of tied everything in. I actually really enjoyed that from Bungie, and the way, we'll talk about this later in the raid, but the way they did the codes off the game was kind of interesting as well. People trying to figure out how exactly to do the code for the exotic pulse. But the story for me was actually quite good. Nice. I like the fact that we rode in a train car. That's a mechanic that we haven't gotten yet. Kind of like a linear motion path in order to fight the enemy. I kind of like that. Visuals are absolutely stunning, though. Like, just going to Fellwinter and just standing there for an hour or two, just watching everything. I mean, they look completely stunning. I'm glad that they left Origin behind, to be honest, where they could handle a bigger graphical workload. But yeah, I had fun playing through the story once. I'm actually tomorrow going to be playing through the story again, just for fun, really. But yeah, I had an outstanding time with it. I really did.
Oh yeah, I mean, when you talk about the story, I mean, the story is, I mean, it's really, I mean, what they've done for as small of a DLC as it really is, I think they did a really good job. But I mean, we'll kind of get more into that as we progress to the
Did you climb the mountain? Did you get the Siva cluster at the top?
Yep.
That might have been the best view that I've seen in terms of visuals in the game. And after how hard it took to get there, I spent a lot of time just looking, honestly.
Honestly, the last mission in Rise of Iron, the final go home story mission, where you're in that big Siva cluster and you're like running out, kind of
Yeah.
like a Die Hard style. I
Yep.
love that. That was
That was
absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And it was so cinematic that you felt like you were there. You're just trying to hustle your way out of there, getting shot at and whatnot, explosions going off everywhere. Absolutely loved it.
Well, every game should have a you know, after you kill Mother Brain sort of escape from the you know, facility sort of chasing thing. I mean that should just be a staple. I mean, I don't care what game you're playing. Freaking Tetris, they need to figure out a way, you know. I mean, I guess they kind of do with things kind of falling in.
Is that a Metroid reference, dude? Mother Brain? Isn't
yes,
that
it's
Metroid?
Metroid. Yeah, Metroid.
Metroid
mhm.
reference.
You know, the escape, you know, when the self-destruction, you're trying to get out. Even like Metroid, Super Metroid, where they had, even the beginning, they had that same sequence sort of, you know, there, or the very beginning, they had that kind of escape, and you know, that you know, that little bit of like, oh my God, am I going to make it out? You know, of course, that one, there really wasn't any threat of, you didn't really feel like you were really all that much danger, but it was still, I mean, I like that sort of thing. So
The end of Contra, the island blows up as you're on the helicopter leaving it. Now you're not actually running from it, but
no, yeah, it's the same sort of deal, but yeah, but well, I mean, you are, because isn't it? Wait, can't remember. Do you have to escape? I forget, Contra. Do you have to escape kind of out of that before you get out and it explodes?
I'm going to default to Cadex for that question.
I don't remember.
I
It's been
don't
so
believe
long.
you do. I believe the helicopter's on a set path, so I don't think you're
thought it
actually.
was a
No,
cutscene.
there's no. Yeah, it was a cutscene, but I mean, there was. I wonder if there was some sort of like little platforming or something where you had to kind of escape a thing while it was exploding, but I can't remember. Anybody in chat may know. Somebody in chat may know. Like after you kill the alien heart thing with the spiders coming down, which was I always thought was cool, by the way. I mean, kind of getting off track here, but yeah. Anyway.
Sorry.
Not really.
I mean, that whole last level is still one of my favorite experiences from the Nintendo Entertainment System era. So
Yeah, and that mission was actually one of my favorite in Rise of Iron and all of Destiny, to be fair, because it just offered something a little bit different that we weren't quite expecting. And I absolutely loved it. You know, it's a new mechanic, new kind of mission and whatnot. People are trying to shoot at you, and I died like 5 times trying to get out of there. And then I just decided to try to hunter skate, and I actually made it. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I applaud Bungie for thinking outside of the box when it comes to, you know, the story layout. You know, introducing us to the Iron Temple, which I still don't know what those bells are for in the back of Iron Temple. I have no clue.
Do you want to know?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you just get an achievement. It's a set pattern that you ring the bells. You need at least 2 people, and you get an achievement.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's kind of lame.
Well, you never know. There might be something in DLC or somewhere down the line. You never know. But yeah, that's the gist of it essentially.
Right. Okay, so from the story mode, we're going to go ahead and go over to PvP. Now, there's been some tweaks to PvP, especially sniper rifles, getting a little bit nerfed. You are no longer able to snipe people out of their supers. How do you guys feel about the reign of dominance of shotguns that still exists? And how do you guys feel about the sniper nerf and just PvP in general? Let's go and start with Angry Iceberg.
I think that I just think that Bungie loves shotguns. I mean, that's all there is to it. Because every time they've said that they've nerfed shotguns, they didn't nerf shotguns. I mean, you know, they basically almost every map is almost designed to feature shotguns. Not every map, but a very large majority of them are. You know, Supremacy. They had to have known that they was going to be dominated by shotguns, and you know, and it's for somebody like me. You know, I'm not a big shotgun fan. I don't really care for shotguns or using them. I don't find them all that fun. And it's really frustrating to have a guy like halfway across the map. You're shooting him in the head as he's running towards you, you know, and then he just comes up and shotguns you from, you know, 10 feet away or whatever. You know, so say what you will about actual shotguns and how they work. But I just don't think it's fun as far as any game mechanics fashion. I think what they've done with Iron Banner is good, aside from it being Supremacy, which obviously is, again, like I said, is geared towards shotguns. It's geared toward fast-paced, close quarter battles. Even the maps they came out with are very much geared toward fast-paced, close, quarter battles. And Supremacy leads right into that, and of course to shotguns, and to a lesser extent to fusion rifles, and to a much lesser extent sniper rifles. And so, I mean, as far as Iron Banner being Supremacy, I'm not real big on it. I haven't really enjoyed it. I'll play it because the gear is really good. But I'll be looking forward to next Iron Banner, where hopefully it goes back to Control, or goes back to Clash, or I would even actually take Rift over Supremacy. Ooh. In my personal opinion. Just because it is so geared towards one skill set. And honestly, if they were to make Supremacy, if they were to take out heavy and secondary, I would love to see them do that. Do a game mode like that where you cannot use anything but primary.
You'd see Universal Remote the entire way.
No, because Universal Remote was nerfed enough that it's not as good as it was. So I think that, I don't think that would be as much of a factor. I mean, it might, but I think that there's enough. I don't know. I think I don't think that would be as much of a factor. I really don't. But I mean, I can see people trying it, but I don't think it would be super successful. It's really annoying for me to see people just running around with their shotguns, because Bungie hasn't done enough to try to balance that game style or that play style. So okay. But other than that, I mean, like I said, what they've done with the bounties is really nice. Taking out the boosts, is really nice, as far as you can just play whenever you want, turn in your bounties right away. You get a a high, a legendary piece of gear that hopefully is going to be higher than the gear that you have, unless of course you're maxed out. But even then, it's still, I've got a 387 machine gun, and I'm 385 on most of my characters, or close to it. So you're still getting good gear out of it. And I think this Iron Banner will be, it'll stress me out. I won't lie, but I'll play it, and just to get the gear since I can't really just play the raid over and over again and get all the gear, I'll get what I can out of Iron Banner, and get as high a light level as I can. And some of the weapons in Iron Banner are good too. When you talk about really down the line, except for the shotgun's okay. It's not. I haven't really seen a role so far that I would say is good for PvP. Just because you're going to get outgunned by matadors or basically any high impact, low fire rate, long range, shotgun, matador, party crasher, conspiracy theory D, and some of the like. But I haven't had a chance to check out the sniper rifle, but I've heard good things. The scout rifle is supposed to be really good. The pulse rifle, I've heard a lot of good things about. And I've got a really good auto rifle that I really enjoyed playing with yesterday. So yeah, there's definitely, some good weapons. I've liked them. My machine gun just destroys. And so that's really good for PvP. But, other than that, yeah, I like what they've done with Iron Banner. Hate Supremacy.
Okay, Evil Aura.
All right, so the sniper and buff and all that kind of stuff, there's still people in other game modes, Trials of Osiris, who are still going to just hard scope. It hasn't really changed much of people's game style. The additions of the artifacts, lose your super but have a ton of grenades and melees, I think is going to play a big role soon. You're not going to see it as much in Supremacy, but you're probably going to see that in threes. If you play threes, you're probably going to see a whole lot more of that. Charging your super faster has made a pretty big impact for those who do team up and run. And I can't wait to see how this reflects a super or a projectile with a sword. I have yet to see anybody really rock that, but those have the potential to really change how PvP is played. I feel like we knew Supremacy was going to be Iron Banner. I think we obviously knew that it was the newest game mode was going to happen. And I honestly don't mind it. I don't run a shotty. I run a fusion rifle. I've had way more success with the fusion than I have with a shotty. I love this game mode. I love it. It's fun for me. I am going in on PlayStation 4 severely underleveled. I'm 348 light in Iron Banner right now, and I'm not having any trouble competing with anybody, honestly. I don't know about matchmaking. Skill-based matchmaking is what everybody's really, really complaining about. And shotguns, if I go back to Halo, I think about the Halo shotgun. You had to be in somebody's pocket for that thing to be effective. I used to die a lot because I was not as close. So I feel like this is kind of like Bungie saying, you know, we might have done some bad things with the shotty in Halo. This is our chance to kind of redeem ourselves. Now there's 4 shotguns that have usable range. I don't have a Matador. I can't comment on it. It'll never drop for me. I'll never have one. That's useful.
I got one.
But I can run a conspiracy or 2 to the morgue or a party crasher and be somewhat competitive right now.
Okay. With PvP, I'm actually loving one primary, and that's the Kvostov. I am absolutely loving Kvostov for Supremacy. Now, if it's 3v3 or if it's Trials, Kvostov is pretty much garbage. It's not going to work for you. But in the Supremacy game type, I love Kvostov because I can change up my fire rate depending on what map I'm in. If I'm in an open map, I'm going scout rifle all the way. But if I'm in a close quarters map, it's auto rifle all day long. If I'm something in the middle, pulse rifle works. I absolutely love the Matador, but I actually have better success with the Jabberhocky or the Trespasser. I absolutely love my Trespasser. It's so awesome. It's kind of like the Hornet from Borderlands 2, and can't get enough of that weapon. But yeah, I mean, I'm loving Iron Banner, but I understand that a lot of people don't like Supremacy because it is so unbalanced towards the shotgun game, and a lot of the newer maps are close quarters, so that just kind of feeds to that, you know, shotgun around the corner mentality. And I get it, you know. I don't use the shotgun all that often. I'm usually using my primary. But yeah, I could deal with a rebalance on the shotguns and maybe even a slight bump to primaries. You know, primary is supposed to be your primary weapon, and yet we're never using it in PvP anymore because it's all snipers, shotguns, and sidearms at this point. There's no point in having a, you know, hand cannon unless you're, you know, godly at PvP. You just miss shots or ghost bolts all the time and you can't hit anything. So, and I can't use a hand cannon to save my life. Let's just go ahead and clarify that. Yeah, I'm absolutely horrible at it. But yeah, I absolutely love the Kvostov. It's very versatile. You can have one weapon do 3 different things, and I absolutely love that. So yeah, that's pretty much my PvP experience. I love what they did with Iron Banner. I love the bounty system that they put in. That allows casuals to get rank 5 within a matter of hours, which I'm a fan of. You know, let them get rank 5. You know, people who play Destiny for 20, 30 hours a week are the 1%. You know, we play Destiny a whole lot compared to, you know, everybody else. So I'm good with them, you know, bumping up the ranks and making them a lot easier to get. And yeah, better rewards. And I'm hoping to get to 370 white soon. So
I think you brought up a great point in the fact that, I mean, and how much of a grind was Iron Banner before, where it would take you Monday through Friday to get one character to rank 5, and now you can do it in one day. I think that's actually like huge because people will still play it for the loot. So great point.
Yeah,
that's just my point. Is that, I mean, like with the way the bounties are now, that, you know, getting that good loot is easy. Plus, you're getting a lot of drops. There's a lot of drops from, you know, from artifacts, which everybody knows is such a pain in the ass to get pre Iron Banner. You know, to ghosts, which again are pain in the ass to get. You know, plus you're still able to get those drops on those gloves or the gauntlets and the auto rifle. And I think the class item as well. But then, you know, the other bounties are giving you a chance at, like, I got the helmet, and I've got the chest piece, and I've got the machine gun, which I don't think which is just going to be out of those bounties, or the heavy machine gun. You know, so yeah, I mean, it's definitely, you know, the way they're doing it now is fun. You're getting good gear, but then it kind of runs into a little bit different problem though. Maybe it's almost too easy. You know,
well, I think it was actually to alleviate the pain of the soft caps because everybody was having problems getting past 350, and I think this kind of alleviates that problem. So where you're not constantly running the same 5 strikes, you know, for days on end, and you don't have to have a complete raid team to get to max light.
It hasn't helped me at all.
Yeah, this is kind of like the midway point. Like, okay, you want to play solo, but you want to also improve your light. This is where you're going to be, and it's Iron Banner, and I don't mind that. I really don't.
My drops have been garbage. I started at 344. I'm 348 after 2 days. There's people who are advancing 5, 6, 7, 10 light a day, and but I still love it. I like the fact that it's challenging. It's a little bit harder to get kills. You get killed a little bit easier, so I don't really much mind it. But the drop rates, the RNG for me has been just terrible.
I'm sorry.
You should be.
I'm not. But,
Bert.
Yep. All right, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the raid. Now, we have all completed the raid, correct? Everybody here is complete? I know Angry Iceberg's done the raid. I've done the raid a few times. How do you guys like it? How do you guys like the puzzle, the big puzzle, as far as the binary code and whatnot? And how do you guys like the feel of the raid? We'll go and start with Aura.
I don't have the Optimus Prime gun yet. I have yet to find a group that will take me and get all of, what is it, 4 monitors. I have yet to find a group to do that. So I don't have the Prime yet. I really don't mind it. I'm not missing it. And the raid is phenomenal. I love the fact that the Death Zamboni was a really, really cool introduction to the raid. Just all of it, just everything about it is very different from anything that we've seen thus far. And the fact that you can help people get there, but you can't do the work for somebody else, where in some of these other raids you might have been able to do the heavy lifting, and there is none of that now, because Empowered is completely random. So you might be able to carry people to the end, but if people aren't on the same page, understanding, communicating, and knowing where to be, you're not going to beat the final boss. And I think that's been phenomenal. I love it. I love the fact that it's a challenge.
Okay. Angry.
Well, first thing I gotta say, what are you doing after this? Or we'll go get you those monitors, no problem.
Oh.
But anyway, it was even Aura and I, we went into it blind together, with 4 other people, obviously, and we had a lot of fun up until the final boss. But that was really only because we ended up figuring everything out, but we just didn't have the light levels to. I think I was the only one over 370. There was maybe one other. There was one other that was over 370, and everybody else was. I think Arokage was 362 or 363. But at any rate, so it was a lot of fun that first, figuring out that first section, getting the sparks, and scaring off that first boss was a lot of fun. I still remember the feeling of dropping into the second section of that boss encounter with the monitors and trying to figure that out. And kind of once we figured that whole thing out, and the way we did it too was, different than a lot of people did it. We thought that we needed one of those bombs to close the door, and while we didn't, it actually made it almost easier on us. Because I'm sure that we didn't wipe because of that door as much as some other people did. We just, wiped because of, him killing us. But I think once we kind of figured it out, it didn't take that long. Well, it was actually, most of the wipes were because of the monitors. We forget about the monitors. But I think that, once we figured it out, and it was exhilarating to figure all that stuff out, and then getting on the Death Zamboni and, kind of figuring that encounter out, what was going on the top of the wall. Like, why, what, anyway, whatever the big pyramid or whatever you want to call it. As you're walking in there and just seeing that set piece and being like, this is really cool because it's has such a massive scale. And then getting into the room, dropping down, through the dance floor there, and then figuring out that first part of the boss encounter, which again, I don't think it really took us that long. It was just a matter of kind of figuring out the pieces and figuring out that there was multiple targets for those bombs and stuff like that. And then we got to the boss. Now that one, I think we had been at it for a while. And that one took us quite a while to kind of really figure out. People had been done with the raid for quite a while. People were coming into chat, trying to tell us what to do, and we're like, no spoilers. We're gonna figure this out. And then even Duwork's kind of figuring out the primary mechanic how to stun. I'm like, that can't be right.
Yeah, we basically told him no, he was crazy.
Well,
yeah.
and the thing was is that the problem was is that like the first time I went to slam after we kind of came up with that idea, I was like, I don't think it's gonna work, but I'll try it, and I tried it. But I didn't see any prompt when I went to do it. I didn't even see the animation that I was doing it, and I'm like, this didn't do anything. And I think I actually died, I know, right after, because I was just standing there. I'm like, and so and then it worked. You did something. I'm like, okay. But and then eventually we figured out kind of the sequence to it. We figured out how to do it, but we just couldn't put enough DPS. We almost got him down, and then we got him to where he was enraged. And at that point, we my side, we ended up wiping. But I mean, it wasn't even just that. I mean, because we were like, no, let's keep going. But then we died on my side anyway, and so it kind of ended that. But then, and that again, that was kind of before we learned kind of how the pattern works as far as keeping the pillar between you and the boss, and kind of stay away from the Siva and all that stuff. But I mean, we knew how to do it. We didn't really think about some of the different ways we could do more DPS. We didn't put a Titan bubble down. I think we might have been tethering, but we weren't using the scorch cannons like we should have. So, the next day after, I was like, screw it, like everybody's already kind of done this. Everybody already knows that. I watched some people. I was like, well, let's just try this. And then the next day, of course, went on and finished it with the people that could make it. And now looking back on it, it's just like I knew it would be. You kind of see it for what it is now, and really how simple it is as a concept, but how also difficult it is, because it that last encounter, everything up to that last encounter is super easy, in all honesty, but that last encounter really requires a lot of concentration and communication. And so you can't, like, especially for a team that's just kind of learning it, and I've gone through it now. I don't know, maybe 7 times. I mean, and so I'm still kind of getting comfortable with it and trying to figure out ways that we can, help other people get through it easily and quickly. And I think I'm starting to kind of get to that point, and we might start kind of doing that this weekend or next week, kind of starting to do raffles, stuff like that. But it's if people start losing that focus and start just having idle chatter, or they forget to say that they're empowered on a side, or when they get powered 2 rounds in a row and they forget to call it out because they were just in power, so they figure everybody knows. There's all these little different things, and then when something goes wrong, nobody really has an experienced way to adjust. Like when we were doing King's Fall. We knew how to adjust to it because we'd done it so many times. I mean, I did that raid, 600-700 times or whatever it was. So, I mean, I knew how to adjust. I knew how to make calls. I knew exactly what everybody should be doing. But this raid's still a little bit new. A lot of people, there's so many people that haven't done it before. And so, so many people that have gotten to that point, but they haven't quite finished, or, whatever. And it's so chaotic and it's so hectic that one little mistake, even on normal, can really throw the whole rhythm off and cause a wipe. But I think we're getting there. We're getting to the point, as the people that would normally help me, I think are getting enough experience that we'll be able to make those adjustments. But there really isn't any place to hide anybody in this raid. I mean, everybody has to really, pick up their own slack. I mean, there's some positions that maybe a little bit easier, but I mean, with how small of a window you have to stun the boss, you really have to be on top of it if you are empowered, and be where you need to be, so in case it's your responsibility to do the stun. And I'm just afraid of what hard mode is going to be. I mean, just trying to there's so many people. I mean, people are racking their brains. Okay, how are they going to adjust this? I mean, like King's Fall. People came up with all these different things, and really all it was just harder enemies. There really wasn't any, except for the final boss, where there was the knights came out. Yeah. So I mean, that was really about the only change in mechanics at all. So so now we're gonna have to do this anytime somebody dies. Essentially, in that last part, you're gonna probably have to wipe. You might be able to get away with 5. I mean, if with an experienced team, but again, when it's hard mode, it's gonna be a little bit different. I mean, we don't know if how it's gonna work, the monitors. I think everything up to the final boss is going to be fairly simple. There's some speculation that you might end up losing your super or have some sort of super trickle, where they do have that extra pad there that you can slam on to apparently get your supers back. But as far as the timing on that is, fairly delicate. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, this raid it's a lot of fun. It's fresh. It's different than anything we've done previous. But there sure are a lot of handling your balls.
Well, I'm looking at the book right now, and there's 2 entries that are still marked out, and that's for the hard mode raid. So there's at least 2 changes to the hard mode raid that I would suspect that you have to deal with as compared to the normal raid. Because in the Moments of Triumph book, there are 2 question marks still on the raid page. So I'm guessing that's exclusive for hard mode. Maybe it's hard mode completions, and then kill or destroy or do X amount of things in the hard mode raid.
Well, they're still in challenge mode. I mean, so that's also another thing. Like, because there's going to be something to where you can't touch the same scorch cannon twice or something like that.
Oh God, that's gonna be crap, dude.
Yeah. So
I don't think you could do that. I don't think you could logistically make that a challenge.
Sure you could.
You could. They had different aura holders for War Priest.
How many rounds would you need to kill the boss though? Because if you need
5.
X amount of rounds to kill him,
5 at the most. 5 at the most.
Logistically, somebody's going to have to touch it who already did.
Well, you got to figure then. Let's see, you got 3 and 3, and then 3 and 3 and 3. No, you'd have. I can't remember. I can't remember. I think it'd be you'd have 6 different rounds. Have up to 6 different rounds where people that wouldn't be touching the same one.
Yeah.
Because you'd have 2 rounds. Well, no, that's not math. That's not math. Somebody with math skills figure that out, because you'd have 1, 2, and 3 touching them. Then you'd have 4, 5, and 6 touching them in that order, and then shuffle them 1 over. Yeah, it'd be 6 rounds. I think. I think 6 rounds.
It'd be 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6.
1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6 for the other ones.
Yeah. For the same one, that would be trying to keep control of who's where and whatnot, running all over the map. That wouldn't be challenge mode. That would be insanity mode.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's just again, yeah. That would be, again, that would be. I think that's very possible that could be the stipulation, because it would be chaos. But again, you could set up certain rounds where certain people grabbed certain cannons, and all you have to do is call out like which cannons where, just like you did, like kind of like we did at first when we were like, okay, I got Scorch Captain, and then Scorch Captain middle, and then so whatever.
I'd also like to see possibly doubling up the captains that come out before you get to the servitor. Maybe doubling up captains.
Well, I think what you're going to see, what you might see though, is like right now we only have Shanks coming out. You probably have Shanks and the other enemies, the freaking whatever the other little guys. But you'll probably have more. You'll probably will have more yellow bars for sure.
Oh yeah, and maybe even exploder Shanks that like drop down on you, so you have to keep moving around.
Yeah, exploder Shanks, those little fuckers. Yeah, probably.
I'm thinking you're gonna lose your super at Axis. I'm thinking all of the enemies at the Zamboni are gonna be yellow. I mean that will be an awful
that's gonna
time.
Be a pain point.
Just an awful time.
Yeah,
I don't know how you can make the first boss harder other than speeding it up, other than making things be a little bit faster.
The first boss is probably going to be, there's going to be multiple the monitors are, you're going to either have like 2 or 3 monitors that pop up. Yeah, you have to kill. Plus you got those monitors kind of towards the back of the, as you enter.
Yeah, that don't do anything.
There's going to be those. Yep. So I think that's going to be a part of it too. So, so yeah, that would be, I mean, obviously where you're kind of looking at some of the mechanics for hard mode. Again, the first part, you know, the very first part, you probably just see some more enemies, maybe, or they're just harder to kill. I don't know. There
Well, getting into Vault of Glass wasn't any harder, right? They didn't make the entrance to Vault of Glass any more difficult.
No, I think it was. I think it was pretty much the same. Yeah, I don't think there was any difference.
So we probably won't see much of a difference except for no spawning until possibly the Zamboni, but most definitely the end boss, either first or second phase. But yeah, like you said, Aura, if every enemy on the Zamboni fight was a yellow, that would absolutely be a pain point. And you can't res, so you're going to have to be high light and high damage, and there's definitely going to be a weapon meta that gets birthed out of that people need to use in order to get through that.
They could leave it alone and just make it so that you can't res, and that will already be hard.
Well, yeah, it'll be hard, but it won't be as hard as, say, King's Fall, when you did have the Light Eaters to delegate and whatnot.
I die a lot there.
It could be the servitors are like really super fast too. You know, like they go like go to the plate
boosters.
Go to the plate super duper fast, and
that, so I can see that being a thing because they're slow as hell right now.
Yeah. Or an overshield that takes like 2 or 3 rockets instead of just 1.
Or maybe their shields change.
Ooh, a rainbow.
That'd be cool.
You know,
so like every 3 seconds or so, it changes to a different color.
Well, something like that, or just after you take down one shield, all of a sudden they have, like, you take down the null shield, and all of a sudden they have the shock shield. You know, or some, something like that. Yeah, even just changing it up. Like if you don't kill it, if you don't hit it fast enough, it'll change. You know, I don't know. I mean, any of these things would make things interesting and make things more challenging.
Yeah.
You know, I think also maybe they'll only be 2 empowered. That could make things real interesting.
Yeah, it would, because you have to spread 1 left, 1 right, and then 1 cover bottom, 1 cover top. That would be.
Yeah,
I don't think I could get all 3 bottom if it was only 2 that were empowered. It might be 2 after the first one. I think you need 3 in the beginning regardless, maybe 2 afterwards, because you don't, if he teleports right, you don't need empowered right at that point. That person, doesn't have to do anything.
Or maybe lengthen the timer and go 3, 2, 1. Have 3 at the beginning, 2 in the middle, then 1 at the end. Oh, that would be absolutely
too random. That would be there'd have to be something that would give you some sort of indicator as to where you go, because that comes down just to luck and positioning. I hope that's not what the people at the.
Well, you still have a few seconds before he moves, so whoever's empowered can get into the middle, and then just sprint to wherever they need to be. And if they increase the time on it by maybe 2 seconds, then you should be able to get somebody over there.
Apparently, people two-man it, so I guess it's possible. I'm not that fast.
Well, that's Titan skating for you, though. But yeah, it would come down to like a draw, because if you have a warlock, you're floating around, you're screwed, regardless. But have you guys got any good gear from the raid?
No.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have a full set of Titan gear. The full set, even the mark and everything. The arms though, man, like, honestly, I could care less about the gear. I think the gear itself isn't that special, at least right now. The one thing though, I mean, this might lead into hard though, is if you look at some of the gear, like it talks about taking less damage, during certain portions. It also talks about speed. But I mean, just the extra heavy ammo is freaking huge.
Yeah.
For that, I mean, that's why, like, the only thing I care about on any of my characters is getting that extra heavy ammo. And when I got that first time, especially when you're trying to use Ruin Wings, like, you remember, Aura, you jumped through Ruin Wings, you just didn't get anything. But this actually works now, so it definitely. The gear's okay. I mean, the auto rifle is fun. I mean, it's not super great, but the auto rifle's fun. Or have you even had a chance to try out the fusion rifle? Because the fusion rifle doesn't look like it'd be too bad.
No, the fusion rifle is really good. Super high charge rate, good stability, good range. It's a good weapon. The fusion rifle is a good weapon. Yeah. Shotgun's been butts.
Yeah, shotgun's not that great.
I don't recall getting anything else.
There's the scout rifle, and I've gotten a ton of scout rifles, and I haven't used it. I've heard some people kind of like it, but I don't know.
It's good for the raid because of the triple tap and the extended mag. You end up getting like an additional 8 bullets or something like that in it without having to reload. So that the perks on that make it good for for the raid, kind of like Cocoon was good for King's Fall.
Sure.
They've kind of tailored some of the perks on these weapons to be good for PvE instances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate the fact, though, that it seems like everybody seems to run out of primary.
I haven't had any problem.
I've never
with
had
running
that problem
primary,
until recently.
Every time I'm in the raid, somebody's running out of primary, whether it's me, whether it's, other people, and I'm using a scout rifle, and I'm running out of primary, like, every time.
You can use a chest piece that does allow you to hold more prime. I've never used it because I play a lot of PvP, but you can get chest pieces that will allow you to hold one primary and one special weapon. You can pick between the two to try and alleviate some of that. It gives you like another 80 or 100 rounds for a scout.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to use that because it just seems like every time I run a raid with somebody, it's constantly I'm out primary. I'm like, whoa, what the heck's going on? It's like juggler on or something, or trickle, or what the heck?
Yeah, the only one that I've really noticed in our raid group is Doworks. And the only reason I mention it is because he's in the chat.
Now, could you guys actually see modifiers for the raid eventually? Like having like Nightfall modifiers for the raid?
No, not well, maybe. You never know. I mean, like you might see that a little bit with there has been some discussion of them bringing back year 1 raids, and I could see something like that in those to make them a little bit more challenging, aside from just light level increases. So maybe, but as far as in this raid, I don't know, maybe.
I could actually see that possibly as the challenge mode, like you having to go through with an arc burn or a solar burn and things like that, maybe as your challenge mode instead of having specific challenges for specific bosses, like King's Fall did. Maybe doing it like a blanket challenge, like there's a void burn, and that a lot of the people in there are freaking void, especially in the Zamboni fight. So that's really going to pay dividends. But if you have arc or solar burn, it's really going to hurt you as well. So I could see that possibly being a thing. That way there's kind of like a season of dominance inside the raid itself, where some weeks it's easier than others. And you just kind of have to flow with the punches there. But it does look like we are at the end of the podcast, though, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to go around the room, and we're going to introduce ourselves and tell you exactly where we can find us, what we can find us doing there, and how you can find us. Let's go ahead and start with our guest, Evil Aura.
Hi, everybody. I'm Evil Aura, and my camera on stream looks way better than this one, I promise you. You can find me Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, right here, twitch.tv/3VIL_AURA. I am on the stream team with Mr. Angry Iceberg, the network. On Twitter, the same one. I am the guy who does the streamer spotlights for Guardian Outpost in the morning. Those of you out there who are streamers looking for exposure, you can also get at me on Twitter to get you a spot on the show. And I want to thank Angry Iceberg and Kadex for having me today. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate it.
No worries. Angry Iceberg.
I am Angry Iceberg. And if you're watching this live, well, you know exactly where to find me right here at twitch.tv/angry_iceberg. If you're watching me on YouTube, after I upload this to the YouTube channel, you can, of course, find me at twitch.tv/angry_iceberg. I will be uploading this to YouTube in the morning. If you guys missed any part of it, you can, go back and watch it over there. That'll be up on my YouTube, youtube.com/angry_iceberg.tv. You can also contact me on Twitter at twitter.com/angry_iceberg, Facebook.com/theangry_iceberg, and of course, Instagram. Well, not of course. I mean, I barely use it. Anyway, Instagram.com/angry_iceberg. You'll be able to find all this information in the info panels if you're watching this live at the bottom of my stream, or you can find it on in the description below the YouTube channel, our YouTube videos, and make sure you check that out. You'll also be able to find the info for these other two fellas here if you want that as well. But you can find me 7 days a week right here on twitch.tv playing Destiny on the Xbox and the PS4. We got a big weekend coming up. If you're watching this right away, we have a big weekend coming up this weekend. We're going to be having a pizza party for 15,000 followers on Twitch. And we're also going to be giving away 12 months of Xbox Live, so make sure you are here for that. All you have to be is a follower. You don't have to be a subscriber. But if you want to subscribe, well, that's absolutely something you can do. You can also, if you weren't aware, you can subscribe through Amazon Prime. If you have an Amazon Prime subscription, it is 100% free. And of course, it goes to support the channel, and you get the awesome emotes, just like you would in a normal paid subscription. It's no different. It's just the only thing is you do have to renew it yourself if you do want to continue the subscription. At any rate, so yeah, just come and check me out here 7 days a week. Usually start at 6 o'clock. On the weekends, I am here longer, and now I will, let Kadex talk.
And my name is Kadexgaming, where I am Kadex, but we are gaming Twitch stream dedicated helping you in game and in life. I am primarily a Borderlands 2 stream, but I might throw in some Destiny here and there. Who knows? Having some fun with Iron Banner, so I might do a few Destiny streams for you guys. But you can find me live at twitch.tv/Kadexgaming. It is now in the chat. You can find me there 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I usually do One Life to Live challenges, and I'm currently doing a charity challenge called Twitch Helps Twitch. It's a charity of my own design, where we gather funds for 30 days, and then we turn around, we donate all that money to an aspiring small stream, kind of help them get back up on their feet, whatnot, and maybe make their stream a little bit better. Maybe get them a capture card or a game that they really want to play in stream, and just help out the small streams community that way. And yeah, so once again, you guys can find me at twitch.tv/Kadexgaming, also on Twitter at twitter.com/Kadexgaming. And for Evil Aura and Angry Iceberg, this is Kadexgaming. Always here to urge you, keep calm. Game on. Deuces.
All right.